let's go through our games. Who goes first, me or you, CJ?
You can
I'll go first.
There it is.
Tennessee, NC State. This game opened as a 6.5 point line. I think now it's up to 10. I got Tennessee 6.5. I would try to get this as low as you can, but I think Tennessee's going to blow them out. Have you seen the videos the fans have put out, kind of poking fun at Nico?
Teresa brought that up. Yesterday when we had her on.
Yeah. So they've put out some videos kind of making fun of Nico and saying NC State's a school where you work hard and all this stuff. And I think Tennessee's going to just put the hammer down and try to win this thing by multiple, But that's what Josh Heupel does early in the season too, is try to win big. So I'm going Tennessee heavy on that one.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I think that'll be a fun game. I'm looking forward to that game. North Carolina State player to keep an eye on brought it up on the
Are we supposed to switch back and forth, or do I do all four of mine?
I honestly don't remember. Concepcion,
good receiver,
is a really good receiver for North Carolina State. I think third best receiver in the nation. All right, Jacob, who's next? What game is next? Just throw it up. We're following your lead, baby. The next game up is mine. It's Michigan versus Texas.
I left that one for you.
That's going to be fun. There are a lot of questions swirling Michigan nationally, and I think locally from fans as well.
Locally,
or fandomly.
People in Memphis.
People. Well, I meant locally, as in like where
Ann
Michigan
Arbor.
is. Yeah, in Ann Arbor.
How do you feel about Michigan after that week one? Yeah, it's kind of underwhelming.
If they get the only underwhelming thing was the quarterback play. They ran the ball well. Sure, it wasn't Donovan Edwards
that's
running
the other
ball.
thing. Edwards wasn't really.
But I don't care who runs the ball. I don't care who totes the tater, as long as there's a tater toter out there, and and Cunningham was a tater toter in that matchup. So the question I have, and the question that everybody keeps coming back to, is the quarterback. And I get it's the most important position that people tell me about on the football field. I think you go with the more dynamic option in Orgy, and you let the chips fall where they may. That defense held Fresno State to 9 yards rushing on 22 attempts.
Why didn't Orgy start that game?
Because
the other guy's a better passer?
They said he's a better passer, and Orgy was throwing interceptions in practice.
Yeah.
You got to take care of the football. So if you just let him know, lay it out there flatly, bluntly, hey, take care of the football, we're good to go. You get him comfortable with a couple of those little screen passes, bubble screens, RPOs maybe. Get him comfortable with some short routes as well, and just matriculate the ball down the field. It doesn't need to be big booming plays every single play. Just move it down the field slowly, methodically, but surely. I think Michigan will be fine and in a good place. Now, Quinn Ewers seems to be that dude this year. They lost a bunch of talent on the defensive line. Texas did, but they brought back a bunch of talent for Texas along that defensive front. Let's see if they can hold up to being played physically for 4 quarters. I look forward to seeing how this plays out.
For my second game, I went with a game that probably most people wouldn't go with, but it matters to me. I did Georgia and Tennessee Tech. I'm going to be at this game in Athens, and the only thing really I'm curious to see is if Trevor Etienne plays for Georgia. He didn't play game one.
And that suspension, right?
Well, there's been this whole Cold War brewing between Kirby Smart and the Atlanta Journal-Constitution over this. And the reporter, the beat writer from the AJC, keeps asking Kirby Smart, when is Trevor Etienne going to be back? And he keeps saying, I'm not going to answer that question. We don't talk about suspensions. We don't talk about things like that. He won't even say the word suspension. Kirby just keeps saying, we're not going to talk about this. And it's gone on every day this week in the press conference, to the point now where fans are clipping it out, and fans are yelling at this beat writer, and people are all mad about it. And Kirby's thing was look, this is a kid. I'm not going to put a kid's business out there, which is noble, I guess, except you're paying this kid a lot of money. And, at some point, the other big thing that comes into this now is the SEC is doing these availability reports. Have you seen those, CJ, now? The SEC is following the NFL's lead.
I didn't know that.
So this is the first week.
Listen, if we're going to be gambling on these, you got to do the report.
This is the first week they're putting out availability reports for all these teams. So you're seeing who's able to play, not able to play, all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see if ETN plays. Nate Frazier was awesome, the freshman running back for Georgia. And I think hopefully Georgia has an easy game this week. Last year I went to their easy game against Kent State, and they barely won. Hopefully this one's a little bit easier for Georgia, and they don't try to coast quite so easily, because they've got a heck of a schedule coming up. Georgia plays at Texas, at Alabama, home against Tennessee, at Ole Miss. They got a really hard schedule coming up. So this week needs to be a nice, quiet week for them. CJ?
My next game, North Dakota State, Tennessee State, down in the FCS rank.
We have 3 Tennessee colleges in our first 4 games.
Well,
yeah, I like that.
It's almost like we're in the state of Tennessee. HBCU guy here. And so we talked about this on HBCU Huddle this week. Eddie George is in his 4th year, I do believe, if I'm remembering correctly, at Tennessee State. And they looked really, really good. Granted, it was against Valley, but they still looked good. Draylon Ellis led an offense that dropped 41 points last week. Just keep it close. If this is close, this could bode well for Tennessee State going forward in their quest to win the Big South OVC, because I'm not sure they'll play a team this good in their conference. And if they win, we're talking about a Tennessee State team that's going to come into Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for the Southern Heritage Classic next weekend, ranked nationally in the FCS polls. I'd be more than willing to bet you. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out.
I can't believe Eddie George has been there 4 years.
Yeah.
That it just feels like it was like a year ago, 2 years ago. Like he's.
Did you double check it?
No.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure
you said that yesterday too.
He got there the year, and I looked at it, and it was still 4. I didn't correct myself. He got there the year after COVID. So 21, 22, 23. This is 20.
And he coached against Dion, right? In the
in the Southern
that 1 year.
Classic,
Yeah. All right. We're gonna turn to the NFL for my next game. I'm gonna go with the Steelers and the Falcons. Being an Atlanta fan, this might be a good bounce back year for the Falcons. We got rid of Arthur Smith, brought in Raheem Morris, who seems to have turned the page. A lot of positivity there, and then defensively,
I'm glad Raheem Morris is getting another
I am
shot
too.
as head coach. Yeah,
I am too. Everyone they talked to, like through the interview process, they all kept saying, because like Arthur Blank apparently wanted Bill Belichick, and Raheem Morris won over everybody else like around there, and they all convinced Arthur Blank to go with Raheem Morris instead. And he's brought in a lot of those Rams guys to run the offense. So hopefully you get something dynamic on offense. Kirk Cousins, I don't know how healthy he is. Penix looked great in the preseason when he played. Bijan Robinson might actually get the ball now. It's not like we're pacing him anymore for some reason. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. They've got a good group on offense. And then defensively, they went out and they've added some guys. You know, they have Bates in the safeties. They went and got from the Patriots, Matthew Judon, to play on the edge. So they've got a good group of players now, and now they've just got to win some games. So we'll see. And Russell Wilson now is questionable. Did you see that? He has a calf something. So you might get Justin Fields, a native Atlantan, back playing against the Falcons for his Steelers debut, but who knows?
One of those AT aliens. Shout out to ATL.
ATL, shouty.
My next game, my first NFL game on my regals will be Cowboys versus Browns. This is a Browns defense that was top 5 in the NFL in sacks last season. Dak Prescott, 6th or 7th most sacks for the Cowboys. I think he was right at, he got sacked 39 times, which I think was good for like 6 in the NFL or something like that. Myles Garrett, eyes got to be big, got to be excited about getting the chomp down on that. And plus, these teams are in that next tier. They're not the Chiefs or the Ravens. I'm going to throw the Bills up there, but they're not terrible. They're good to pretty good. And so this is a chance for us to figure out some more things, or not figure out because we hadn't seen them play. It's a chance for us to learn some things about these two teams this Sunday.
My last one, I'm going Jets 49ers, only because that Jets team last year, we saw 4 seconds of them with Aaron Rodgers after a whole preseason of hype and hard knocks and all that stuff. And then season started and they weren't the team we thought they were going to be. But they have a really good roster and they have a great defense. And you would think, hopefully, like if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, they got a shot at it this year. And the 49ers, it's fun to watch them play, and we'll see if Roser implodes or not after the game.
That's the best part about 49ers games for me is Roser, and shout out Chris Luther wherever you are.
Yeah.
Watching them implode as games happen.
I know.
is great. My last game will be, I do believe it's the Texans and the
Titans.
Colts? Oh, it's the Titans. Okay. So I went with Titans. I was going back and forth between Colts, Texans, because Anthony Richardson is back. Texans won the division last year. And I'm curious to know if this was just a quick flash, if this is something that's going to be sustainable with
I drafted CJ Stroud, so I hope the Texans is sustainable.
But Titans Bears, the Titans new look, completely new team, got a new coach, got new scheme. No longer are they going to be, hey, we're going to run the ball down your throat and we're going to play solid defense. No, it looks like they're going to try and spread things out. Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley and those dudes are going to be out there trying to let things fly. And let's see what that looks like. And then for the Bears, come on, man, it's the number 1 overall pick. And that Bears team was slightly below average last year.
Yeah.
They got that number 1 overall pick because they got that from the Panthers. They didn't earn the number 1 overall pick. So if you were slightly below average last year, and listen, you got a quarterback like Caleb Williams. I know he's a rookie, but it's Caleb Williams' time to shine in Chicago. I'm big on Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is going to be good to great in the NFL. I look forward to seeing what the Bears do. This might be a sneaky dark horse playoff team.
The stat I brought out yesterday on the Odds Couple: quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall are 0-14-1 in their first start since 2002. Caleb Williams' first start, Sunday. 0-14-1 since 2002. I mean, at some point it has to end, right? But
I don't think it ends.
I feel like it's a good bet.
I don't think it ends against the Titans.
The other one is that you mentioned that Colt Texans games. Indiana is the Colts are 1-14-1 against the spread in game 1 the last 16 years. 1-14-1. So Texans are -3. I feel like that might be a pretty good bet.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hart, live every weekday at 8 a.m.